Welcome back to the 1995 Miata M-Edition Restomod project. In this installment, we'll be going over the drivetrain components that we'll be using from the 2000 Special Edition. Basically, here's the drivetrain from the 37,000 mile donor car, along with a couple things we had to change on it to make it fit the 95 M-Edition, and also a couple upgrades we did. Now, as you can see, the biggest thing that sticks out of the front of this drivetrain basically is the bright red sway bar. That is a stock sway bar from the Mazda Speed Miata. We'll be upgrading to the front and rear sway bars for the Mazda Speed. That'll be an upgrade not only from the 95 but also from the stock 99 2000 units right there. And at this point, we've also replaced the spindles, all 4 spindles, which allow us to run the ABS. Now we have the ability to bolt on the ABS sensors from the 95, and also right over here on the control arm. That's the difference in the control arms. It allows us to bolt the cable onto there, so that way the routing is properly mounted without having to use any zip ties. One of the biggest departures we've taken from a standard NB engine install into a older NA chassis is basically the exhaust. In that case, normally when you're putting a 99 2000 engine into a 94 to 97 car, you would use the 94 to 97 manifold and downpipe and cad and exhaust. In this case, since we have the luxury of using the NB subframes, that allows us the mounting points right here for the NB mid-pipe and the NB muffler. So we will be going that route and actually installing a full NB exhaust on this car. This is the stock exhaust manifold that came on the 2000 donor car. Basically on 99 2000s, they had a cast iron manifold, and then in this case, this car was a California emissions car, which means it has an extra cat right here in addition to the one in the mid-pipe. We definitely don't want to use this setup because the electronics for the 95 are not set up for it, and it is not going to let things flow as smooth as it should. So that way we have found another solution for it. Instead of using the 99 2000 one without the cat, we've actually gone ahead and upgraded to a 2001 to 2005 tubular manifold. This manifold basically bolts right on. It's a common upgrade for people who have 99 2000 cars anyway. It allows us to run the EGR tube exactly in its factory location without any modifications on there. So with the use of the manifold, the heat shield, and the EGR tube, we're able to have a bolt-on solution for this car. Moving on, we've decided to use a stock 99 to 2005 downpipe. In this case, we use the one from the 2000 donor car. That allows us to have the O2 sensor very close to where it's at on the 95 project car anyway, so that gives us perfect placement for that O2 sensor. It gives us the cat right here, which is still in very good condition after 37,000 miles. And the best part of this being a California emissions car is it doesn't have the O2 sensor back here, since they're both in the front over there, so we don't have to do any welding or any plugs or anything like that to plug anything up. It's basically a closed circuit all the way back. We have it mounted to the subframe right here, and then we have it mated up to the 05 Mazda Speed muffler. So basically it's very similar to the 99 to 2005 regular muffler, but it does have a much nicer polished tip right here at the end. While we had things disassembled back here, we had to replace the most important part that was damaged in the accident from the donor car, which was the aluminum housing back here. As you may recall, it was broken right here where it's meant to be broken in case of a rear end accident. That allows that portion of the drivetrain to absorb any damage basically without having to transfer it all the way forward and damage more items. So this is a very common thing that gets broken on these cars in a rear end accident. We replaced that. It's pretty simple. It's basically RTV or silicone that seals it to the rest of the differential. At this point, we also installed the axles, which are specific to a 95.5 to 97 Miata. They are one-piece design which started basically mid-year in 1995 and have the ABS rings. Stay tuned for the next installment. We'll be going over all the various electronic parts that we've had to replace and still need to replace on this car, along with a couple maintenance items on here. Basically, we'll be tackling this stuff ahead of time, so that way when we're ready to put the engine and the whole drivetrain inside the car, we've already tackled all these odds and ends right there to essentially trick the 95 car into thinking that this is its original drivetrain. So please stay tuned.